Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield. Together, we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit. A new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing. Cut it close with Hovels. Moda. Make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb. Manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA. Hi out there, thanks for watching Quilty. Today is a This Is My Quilt episode, and I am joined by Donna Rochino. Italian? Maybe? A little bit, yeah. Donna, welcome to Quilty.
Oh, thanks for having me. This is great.
So glad you're here. You reached out via Facebook. I said, hello, Facebook Quilty people. Is anybody interested in being on Quilty in the area on this particular date? And the stars aligned. Yes. And here you are.
Worked out. Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what you do and yeah, what are you up to in your life?
Oh, well, since I started quilting a dozen or so years ago, I now own a quilt shop. So we're just trying to get out and touch fabric all day long.
Yeah, oh, good idea. I'm coming with you. And you're in Gurnee,
yes,
Illinois. And the name of your shop is what?
It's called So Moving.
Nice.
So look me up on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's an interesting name because you are in the Navy. You're a Navy person.
Yes.
And you're married to a Navy person.
Yes.
And so you're moving a lot, or you have in your life.
Right. I'm not in the Navy anymore, but he is, and so we moved together.
Right. And the quilt that we have today is part of that story, is part of your Navy story. So tell me about the quilt that we have today.
Yes. This is the very first quilt that I ever made. And I wanted to do a patriotic theme, so that's why it's red, white, and blue.
Sure.
But it's it's hand pieced. I took a class at the Parks and Rec Center in Virginia, and because I didn't want to invest in a machine, and so I wanted to see if I liked quilting, and then so this was all plastic templates and erasable pens. And hand sewing.
You don't see a lot of that today. You don't. And you said you made this quilt about 10 years ago? Or
yes.
a dozen or so years ago?
Yes, 2001.
2001. Hand piecing is not something you see a lot because there's so many, ways to do it more quickly,
yes.
But it is still done, and people still do like to do it almost kind of as a treat or kind of a fun experiment, when they do stuff like that. But you were starting out and testing it, and it was 01. It was September.
Yes.
01.
Yes. The very first class was on a Wednesday night. It was September 12th. And I almost didn't go. I thought it was going to be canceled.
Sure.
So I showed up late because we were both in the Navy at the time and things were just crazy after the events of Tuesday. And so I went anyway because my husband, or my boyfriend at the time, he's now my husband, was leaving on an aircraft carrier.
Oh my gosh.
So I wanted to make something for him to take.
Absolutely.
And I thought a quilt class would be the thing to do. But I didn't finish it in time before the ship left. Things kind of got expedited after September 11th.
Certainly did. But that quilt class, I imagine, was maybe the best place to be that day. I imagine that was a pretty great group of people.
Yeah, it's a blur, of course, to me right now. But I was just glad to go.
Yes,
and get away from work.
Yeah.
So.
And so you worked on this there initially, and you picked several different blocks. You could call this a sampler quilt, Do you call it a sampler, or do you consider it to be that?
I do. I think that's what the teacher had in mind, was to teach us different techniques, have square triangles, the fruit basket is what I call it.
Card trick block. We've done that block on Quilty before.
Yes, and then some needle turn applique.
Yeah.
So it's not the easiest thing to do.
Right.
But whenever I get frustrated with my sewing machine, I think I made a quilt without a sewing machine, and so why am I rushing?
That's a great lesson. I mean, people do make quilts without a sewing machine. They did for a really long time, right. and if you just get fed up with, I don't know, if your machine needs repair, it doesn't mean you have to stop sewing. It's true. Right. And doing hand projects, I have not done a hand piece quilt myself, but little small things like wool applique or those things can remind you that you should take your time, or that taking your time is part of the reason we do this, right? To enjoy it. Now, tell me, the quilt that you said you were making now is one that's also red, white, and blue. What's your quilting journey been like since this quilt? I don't have any in my possession. All of my quilts that I've done, I've given away because I always think, later, I can make something for myself later. But I've done a breast cancer quilt for a friend, and baby quilts. I call them car seat quilts, little 18 inches square. Those are nice, easy gifts to Moms
whip
love
up.
them. Yes.
Yeah, almost like a burp cloth. But the one I'm working on now is, I believe it's going to be 8 feet by like 9 feet.
Oh, wow.
And it's for a friend who's retiring. Hopefully he won't watch this because it's a surprise for his retirement.
You can show him later the episode that goes with his quilt. That'll be like a bonus.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's not red, white, and blue. It's in the navy colors of gold and navy and white.
You sent this to your quilt shop to be quilted on a machine, right? This is machine quilted. I just want to take another look at this quilt before we go.
It's machine quilted. They put some stars in there, a little patriotic machine quilting. I don't know who did it. We were living overseas at the time when I actually finished this, and I just sent it to my hometown quilt shop and just said, fix it.
Right, and I was thinking of the quilting because on that big quilt that you're saying that you're going to make, you'll want to send that to a long armor probably. But you can send small ones and long ones to people who finish quilts. So there's really no quilt is too small to be finished by a shop or a long armor.
Right. And that one is definitely more special if I'm giving it away, and it's going to be a big ceremony. So I'm thinking of a nice motif to put on there.
Yeah, that'll be fun to play around with what you can do. Eagles or navy symbols, things like that. Well, this is a beautiful quilt. It's clearly loved. I love that you brought your first quilt too. And if you could give any advice to someone, now you're a shop owner. See, that's the danger. You didn't think you were like, I don't even want to buy a machine because I'm going to try this out. And now you own a shop. I'm telling, warning, danger. What is some advice you might give to somebody who is making their first quilt, like today? Starting on their first quilt.
Right. That's why I like the Quilty magazine, is because you do focus on some beginner techniques. That it's done out of love. Don't try to rush it. The fabric is so beautiful, and you'd cry when you cut it, but the amount of work that you put into it is going to be so appreciated. So don't beat yourself up about it. It's going to be fine.
That is the best advice you will ever hear on this show. You can stop watching. Actually, never watch another episode. Donna said it. Donna Rochino, thank you so much. Best of luck to you and your family, and we will see you on Quilty next time. Bye. Quilty is brought to you by Baby Lock Sewing and Long Arm Machines. Baby Lock, for the love of sewing. Aurifil Italian thread, perfectly suited for all your quilting projects. Fairfield, together we can make beautiful things. Free Spirit, a new generation of creative and playful fabrics perfect for fashions, home decor, quilting, crafting, and more. Hovels Sewing, cut it close with Hovels. Moda, make something quilty with Moda fabrics. Thermoweb, manufacturer of heat and bond adhesives and new luxe interfacings, proudly made in the USA.